Fact or cap? Jared Goff is under more pressure to win a Super Bowl than Lamar Jackson.
That's cap. Nah, I don't think Jared Goff's not under pressure. I think Detroit's under a ton of pressure to deliver. Lamar is under a boatload of pressure. If Lamar doesn't deliver a Super Bowl, you're going to have every genius saying that his MVPs are fraud. He doesn't show up in the postseason. Everything that all you guys are saying now. Lamar is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. And I am of the opinion he's going to prove it eventually with one of these special runs. We just haven't had the chance to see that and enjoy that. But I think we'll be delivered one of these days coming up. I think Lamar Jackson is one of those guys, but until he does, he is under the most pressure out of anyone in the NFL outside of Josh Allen, now if they gave Josh Allen his MVP.
I agree, Chuck. That's cap. Lamar, 2-time MVP. All eyes are on him. I will say Goff's in a better situation all around. So he absolutely should win a Super Bowl. Probably won't. But even then, all eyes are on Lamar.
I'm actually going to say cap. I'm going to say cap because Lamar Jackson, and Chuck and I are going to disagree heavily on this, is being babied in the media. Nobody's talking enough about the fact that he's a glorified loser in January. He loses in January. He beats nobody in January. Nobody talks about it enough. Every year, who's your dark horse? It's the Baltimore Ravens. Next year, who's your dark horse? It's the Baltimore Ravens. It's every year. And no one talks about Lamar Jackson being the issue ever until we freaking started bringing it up, for the love of Christ. Let me not say Christ's name, but you know what I mean. And when you go to turn the clock around and go to Detroit, for years people are saying, this is Jared Goff's team. We finally believe in Jared Goff. And now he didn't deliver this year. And now we're talking about it again. Is he really the guy? Is he liable to a drop-off year? Now we're talking about him bad in the media. Lamar gets nothing bad in the media. He's won 2 MVPs and done nothing. That's my issue. I think he's not under as much pressure as Jared Goff because Jared Goff is replaceable.
I'm with you, Connor. Jared Goff has some of the most pressure in the NFL to win a Super Bowl, and definitely more than Lamar Jackson. And it's because Detroit looks at him as their savior. They were so irrelevant without Jared Goff and without this new regime, but now they're easily one of the Super Bowl favorites. Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl, and he lost it with Sean McVay as his coach. Now that he's with Detroit and he's doing really well, now he gets a bypass for not being able to win a Super Bowl with the best team in the NFL. And then we look at Lamar. Lamar's still got plenty of time. Jared's much older. Lamar's going to make his team way better than Jared Goff would. Jared Goff has to do well with the weapons around him. So Jared Goff is by far under more pressure than Lamar, in my opinion.
It's interesting. I see it from really the standpoint of, like, there's so much around Goff that he just has to. Like, you can't choke back-to-back years. I mean, they were winning the NFC Championship and just blew it away is really how it seemed.
Who do you think's quicker? If things go wrong, who do you think's quicker to get replaced?
Jared Goff, no doubt. But that's
where I'm like Lamar is irreplaceable altogether. You know he's going to be on that team, and you know that they're going to win or lose with or without him, or with him only. Essentially, he's the ship. Jared Goff, if he has a bad year next year, we're going to be talking about it all offseason long about Detroit.
Your argument is Jared Goff has more pressure to lose his job. That's absolutely facts. It's not more pressure to win a Super Bowl. It's more pressure just to be going elsewhere, packing his bags.
Well, Detroit has everything to win a Super Bowl right now. So if Jared Goff doesn't get them at least to the NFC Championship, we're going to be talking about should he be the quarterback the next year. If Lamar loses another divisional game like he does every year, they're just going to run it back.
I don't agree that. I don't think Jared Goff's replaceable. I think they're riding with Jared Goff the same way Baltimore is riding with Lamar. Same way LA is riding with Justin. I think they're riding with Jared Goff. I think if shit goes wrong, I think they're going to look to how do we get this right for Jared. We've seen what he can do.
If the Detroit Lions have a bad year, it completely falls on Jared Goff.
I don't think they'll blame him. I think they'll blame, okay, well, let's get a better coordinator in. We've seen what he can do in the right system. That's what I don't think they look to replace him.
I think that's going to be Goff's cop out. You know, if he does have a bad year, it's going to be like, well, he has a new coordinator, which sucks,
Well,
dude. Like,
McVay got him to a
I hate
Super
that.
Bowl. Ben Johnson has him rolling. He's proven that, call him a system quarterback if it's an insult, but he's proven in the right offensive system, Jared Goff can win NFL games at a high clip.
Let me ask you this. What do you think stopping Detroit from winning a Super Bowl?
It's hard to go on that special run, man. They're right there.
I don't know.
I mean,
Wait,
they were
so-
injured pretty bad going into the playoffs this year. To be fair, injuries. Is
Yeah,
bad.
this year injuries is probably the right answer, but I think last year they came an inch away from beating San Francisco.
That was, no.
In fact, they actually folded, but
Yeah, a lot of the, honestly, if just let me know if I'm wrong here, but what I recall from that game in the NFC Championship against the 49ers, it was more Dan Campbell's fault than any of the players. So
Yeah, they were even more aggressive than they should have been, and they were already smoking. We were at 3 scores.
Yep.
Are you going to blame Jared Goff for the reason why they got kicked out by Washington in the playoffs this year, or are you going to blame that defense? Their defense was a problem this year. That's why I'm surprised
defense-
Aaron Glenn even got a job. I'm like, he wasn't that
their
impressive.
defense. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Grant. Their defense got
I was
super
confused
overrated.
too because we were talking about Aaron Glenn as one of the big candidates. I was like, he just got hung 45 points by a rookie QB in the playoffs and he was at home. I was
Yeah.
thinking in my head, I was like, what is so special about that? I never thought of Detroit as having this super elite defense. They had pieces in a lot of places, but I never thought that they were like
No,
the
you
Denver
thought of
Broncos.
Them,
You know what I
thought
mean?
of
Like-
them as young, drafted, scrappy dudes on their defense. That's what you thought about. You
So-
thought about Brian Branch and those guys.
Why I think I get it, but why I think he got the job is because he had so much thrown at him with these injuries, and they were still doing decently well. Like they were throwing guys in from your local corner store at linebacker, and they were still doing
Yeah.
decent.
That's true.
fair.
So-
That's true. It's a good point, Kojo. It's a good point.
And this wasn't the first year they had injury problems either. So I do see that point.
But I will say, you know what negates a bad defense?
A great quarterback.
An offense that slows the game down and does their thing and puts a lot of points on the board and makes the other team one-dimensional like they did all season long.